And welcome to another episode of our movie series, How Did It Age? Where we watch older movies and reevaluate them with modern context. Today's movie is 1995's Friday. Ching. It's been 30 years since this movie came out, and it's been a couple days since Friday.
Yeah, it's as old as me.
It's Sunday, but today it's Friday.
On How Did It Age?
On How Did It Age? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Let me do that one more time, actually.
All right.
Okay. It's Sunday, but today it's Friday. On How Did It... I thought we were doing that in unison.
On How Did It...
Okay, it was a
How
timing
Did It
thing.
Age?
It's a timing thing.
Today, it's Sunday.
It's Sunday, but today...
Yeah. It's Sunday, but today it's Friday. On How Did It Age?
Got it.
That was good.
This movie stars Ice Cube and Chris Tucker.
Yes.
And it's directed by...
F. Gary Gray.
F. Gary Gray.
And I'm not saying, like, fuck him. It's just, like, that's his name.
Right, it wasn't directed by Gary Gray, and we're saying F him.
F him, no.
The F. Gary Gray is the name.
Who was known for shooting music videos at the time.
Okay.
Go figure. Teaming up with Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, who are the two writers of this movie.
Yes.
It is the cult classic that we all know it for to be today. At its time, it was a big risk. Ice Cube was like the most serious, like musical provocateur. He was like very hardcore gangster rap, as it was so belovedly called back then.
Yeah, they call it something else now.
Yeah,
they don't say gangster rap.
We really
anymore.
don't.
I mean, well, yeah, they do.
We don't say that's hardcore gangster rap.
Well,
that's not like on the, you know.
Yeah, people just say hip hop or rap.
Yeah.
Or SoundCloud rap or Vamp Life.
Yeah, or like that's like street rap or something, or like drug rap. Or
right.
No one's like, that Lucky is a hardcore gangster rapper.
I don't think anybody, I don't think people ever said that about Lucky.
You never know.
I don't think that would fit.
You never know.
It'd be more like drug rap.
Yeah, so there we go. Massive success, though. Ice Cube did succeed at acting funny. It made $27.4 million against a $3.5 million budget. It's insane to me that they used to make movies for $3.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's
they
awesome.
still do. You either make them for $3.5 million or $400 million. Anything in between that is pretty much impossible to make. They're gonna make like A24 is basically doing 600 movies for $4 million, and one of those is gonna pay for the rest of them.
Yep.
And then other than that, you have to have $400 million, and you gotta attach it to the name of a popular toy, and that is the movie. And you're hoping that you make $600 million off of the $400 million.
Correct. It is universally beloved. It has a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 7.2 on IMDb, and a 3.6 on letterboxd. And there's no review from old Raj.
Wow, that white devil.
No.
Yeah.
He did Next Friday and Friday After Next.
Oh, yeah. Well, Next Friday was bigger than Friday.
Almost double. It is the most successful in this trilogy. And in the third one, does Smokey destroy the ring?
I think he falls into the volcano.
With Felicia?
Yeah, he says, bye, Felicia, as he's falling. He says, bye. Bye, Felicia.
He's like, my precious, and it's like a blunt.
Yeah, they should have done that.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I do think they should have done Friday the 13th, and had it be like a scary version of this movie.
Oh, it's like all at night.
Yeah, it's like creepy, and there's like maybe they do like a play on Thriller, like the Thriller music video or something. I just think there's a lot of stuff they could have done, or a Fish Friday. It could have been during Lent, and it's like they all are eating fish and shit, or something. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. It's just the name that, or they should have just done Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday, and each one they could have made a full week of movies, and that's 7 movies instead of 3, aka 7 times the money.
Yeah, I mean that math checks out with me. Have you ever seen this before?
I had seen like bits and pieces of it on TV as a kid, and I like obviously knew the big moments, but I had never sat my white ass down and listened until yesterday.
I think I watched it a couple times in college, and I was like, that's funny. That was kind of my initial reaction.
But you were smoking so much weed back then, you probably didn't even remember goddamn shit about it.
It's like, that's why they call me Smokey.
Yeah,
Been smoking since I was 2.
Yep.
You want to tell them the plot?
Oh yeah, sorry. I spaced out there for. I've also been smoking so much weed lately.
Man, you're off that boof pack.
Greg and Smokey are 2 best friends who live in South Central LA. Greg has just been fired for stealing cardboard boxes, and Smokey owes his drug dealer Big Worm money. The whole movie takes place on a regular Friday where 5,000 things happen. They people watch on the porch, they chase girls, they get involved in a B&E, they smoke weed, and beat up Lil Chris all before sundown. But eventually their relaxing Friday catches up to them, and they have to face the music.
Did you write that?
Yeah, I wrote that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I literally just write what I remember happening in the movie as like a little plot to just say at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie, or maybe you haven't seen it in a while,
Yeah.
there's a little rundown of what happens. And I like doing that. It's fun. It's a little summary.
I like that too, man.
I've always thought I could be Rovi. The guy who writes all the bios on it was like Pandora and Spotify. It'll be like bio by Rovi.
Oh.
I could be misremembering the name, but they just a little summary of the artists that what's going on with them.
Nice.
Yeah. It'll be like Kanye West is a musician from Chicago. Nowadays, he's doing some other shit that isn't so good. Bio by Rovi. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
The movie starts off with one of the most quotable lines, and you get the classic shot from F. Gary Gray when Cube closes the fridge door, and John Witherspoon, who plays his father, rest in peace, is standing right there eating a big bag of grapes. He goes, "Every time I come in the kitchen, you're in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator." And then he just lists off like all the things that he's been eating. He says that he ate his dinner last night. And he goes, "I'm hiding my grapes. You're going to steal my grapes." It's a great line there. Cube is hungry and can't get milk for his cereal, and he's scrounging around the kitchen. I love that whole scene in general.
Biggest bowl of cereal you've ever seen, by the way.
What
He
is up with
uses
that?
like a popcorn bowl and fills it with the cereal before even checking if there's enough milk for it, and then pours the tiniest bit of milk. And then, yeah, he doesn't get to do it. And then his mom suggests that he uses water.
Yeah, his dad says it too. He said, like, we used to use water. She's like, put some water in it.
Which I always thought would work. Like, I mean, I understand why people use milk, but I'm kind of like, I thought that when I was a kid. I was like, why not just water?
I feel like that would make me throw up for whatever reason. Tasting a bite of cereal, like it would be like the subconscious thing or whatever. It's like, when you go to pick up the can, you think there's stuff in there and you pick it up way too quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I took a bite of soggy cereal and there wasn't milk, I think I'd be like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I just never could have actual milk. So I was
true,
drinking
yeah.
Rice Dream, which is the brand of rice milk.
The YouTuber?
No, you're thinking of Rice Gum.
Oh, my bad.
That's the shit tastes terrible.
Yeah.
I feel like
person.
Yeah, let's stick with cotton candy and mint and let's go with the hits.
I
But
like rice flavor stuff.
yeah, rice gum,
Be good. Like, you have rice ice cream.
rice cream.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I was always like, why not water? But what I'm drinking is basically that.
Okay.
So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, big bowl, and then he can't eat his cereal.
There's another great John Witherspoon in the early scene there where he's taking a big dumpy and he tells Ice Cube to come in because he has to tell him something. And Ice Cube's like, I don't want to come in there. You're stinky.
Yeah.
And he goes, I've been smelling your shit for 22 years. You can't smell mine for 5 minutes. How the hell are you going to get fired on your day off?
Yeah.
Which is great.
I also love John Witherspoon's physical comedy there. It's so good
Oh.
because he's got his head up like this and he's spraying Febreze. He's just like, oh, and he's sweating. He's got
Yeah.
his whole shirt off.
Yeah, that
Like,
opening scene really establishes his comedy right out the gates. Like, Ice Cube doesn't really do anything funny. His mom's kind of like more of the straight man in that scene, just playing the traditional mom. And Witherspoon is like bouncing around the house. And like before he goes to work, he goes, all right, nobody used the bathroom for 35 to 45 minutes.
I actually have that line in here because what precedes that is so good. Like, Joy is Craig's girlfriend who keeps calling the house and hanging up.
Yep.
And his mom clearly disapproves of Joy in some way. And so he's like talking about what he needs to do and whatever, just in his romantic life. And his mom's like, your problem is you got no game.
Yep.
And he's like, I got plenty of game. She's like, no, you know who has game is your father.
Yeah.
He has game. And then he comes out and says, all right, nobody go in there for 35 to 45 minutes.
Yep.
It smells terrible in there, whatever. And then he's like, you call that game?
Yep.
It's such a great interaction.
It's so quick. Witherspoon's just crazy in this. We'll get into more of his lines later in one of my favorite scenes, but do you have any other early well-established lines that
Oh
stuck
my
out to
gosh.
you?
My favorite is in the carryout when Izal slips and he pretends to slip on the wet floor and fall. And then he's just like, I'm not going to do it justice because it is such a weird, the cadence is so funny. He's like, oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck, my back, my neck, my back. And he's like, oh, I want $150,000. Well, we can settle out of court right now for $20. And then I love that they're just like, get out of here, get out of here. He's like, give me $10. They go, get out of here. $250 and a jawbreaker. Like, get out of here. He's like, $1 and some envelopes. Like, he just keeps going down and down and down until he leaves.
Izal is like one of the Izal
Yeah, I don't know.
What a crazy name.
Yeah.
The things he wants and like acquires and or steals throughout this movie is so bizarre.
He steals clothes a lot.
Miss Parker's clothes out of the front yard at one point.
He's always asking for $2.
Yeah, $2. He steals the teddy bear out of Felicia's room. It's very strange, the things that he wants to acquire. He's like the classic, strung out.
I mean, they refer to him as a crackhead.
Yeah, crackhead, basehead in the neighborhood. And he's just, he's amazing. I'll skip ahead to one of my favorite Ezel lines is when he catches Smokey taking a shit outside.
Yep.
And Smokey's like, don't you tell anybody about this. And then he walks to the sidewalk and goes, hey, Smokey's back here taking a shit.
Yeah.
And he gets pissed and he goes, I won't tell anybody else. And he just like goes on his way. So great.
Yeah, it's great. I was going to get to this in scenes, but I feel like it sets up the next line very well. The conflict of this movie starts at 40 minutes.
Yeah.
The first 40 minutes is like it's a chill day. Yep. It's just set up. It's joke after joke after joke. It's great. It is so entertaining with zero tension, zero conflict. Yep. I mean, any conflict is like some sort of like petty disagreement in the house or something. Yeah, it's not a big deal. And then it really starts 40 minutes in when Big Worm is like, I'm going to kill you guys if you don't give me my $200. It's great. But my favorite thing is when Big Worm says, playing with my money is like playing with my emotions, Smokey.
Yeah, he's like genuinely sad.
Yeah.
He's like playing with my emotions.
Yeah, the way that line is delivered. And it is like, this movie has a very funny way of like, it's serious. Like some of the conflict is serious. It's never treated that way in the delivery. It's always funny. Yeah. Until the very end, there's obviously like a moment where they dip into like where it's very serious. Yes. But like, you're never scared of Big Worm.
Yeah, and they also make him out to be like the goofiest fucking like kingpin drug dealer in the neighborhood.
Right.
Like he has curlers in his hydraulic car in his first interaction. And he like whatever accuses Smokey of smoking the stash. And then the next time we see him, he's driving around like a pimped out ice cream truck and his hair's done. And so now his hair looks ridiculous.
And Smokey calls him Big Perm. Yeah, and he goes, oh, I mean Big Worm.
Which is a great line, a classic line. Yeah. And you get to see this ridiculous dude that this guy we're supposed to be so afraid of.
Yeah, I mean, you feel kind of the same way about Debo. Like, there's the scary music and whatever, but the way that Smokey interacts with him specifically is so funny, and they're like willing to push the boundary with him that you're never like, oh no, like Debo's gonna kill somebody, you know? I mean, obviously it comes to a head at the end and like you realize that Debo is a bad guy or whatever, but it's like the way that everybody interacts in the neighborhood is like everyone knows each other. Right. So do you really think these two guys are gonna get shot? And I feel like that's kind of, I mean, there's like commentary there too. Of course, yeah. But like at the same time, as a movie watcher, it all feels so light despite being serious.
Yeah, the flow is something that I feel like this movie doesn't get the credit it probably deserves for. Like the pacing is so great. And in so many classic, like one day concise comedies, you lose a lot of steam by either the time you get to the nighttime or like certain parts of the day feeling really stretched out. Yeah. This has like great pacing and it's all like orchestrated around like you have people going to work, you have Craig's parents both go to work. I don't know, the timing just feels all natural. By the time the ice cream truck pulls up for the kids, you realize like they're either out of school or whatever, like everything like links up. The only part timing wise that I was confused by was when Debo and Felicia are fast asleep prior to the 10 o'clock meet or like threat time that Perm set.
Yeah, it's like 8:30.
Yeah, and they are just
they hooked up and they are asleep. And they don't wake up even like when Smokey drops the underwear on his face. Yeah. Like it is, it's crazy.
That's the only part timing wise where I was like, that doesn't really add up. But
my favorite timing part in the entire movie is when Dana comes home from work or school or whatever she's doing, and she talks to them on the porch, goes inside, and then they have a conversation. She comes back out 30 seconds later, fully changed her clothes, and says, I was just on the phone with Debbie, and she told me this. As a response to the conversation they had 30 seconds ago, she's already changed her clothes, called Debbie, and has new information from that phone call to relay to them. Like that part killed me. Yes. I thought that was so funny because everything just happens like this throughout the movie.
Some other just like iconic lines we have to shout out. I honestly forgot we even get from this movie. Chris Tucker, who plays Smokey, does the "you got knocked the fuck out" in the first.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
In the first like flashback when they're like reminiscing on Debo being neighborhood bully. Bully's a light term for a domestic abuser that he turns out to be at the end. Walk around like Debo. They not like us. They not like us.
No, I know.
Dude,
No, I know.
Walk around like Debo. It's who he's talking about.
I know.
That's awesome.
I did art for a music video that Debo was in. The guy who played Debo, rest in peace.
Yeah, was it Faison Love plays Debo?
Yeah, and it was a Darnell Williams music video that I did. He's a Detroit artist that I did the graphics for, and Debo was in the music video.
Faison Love, rest in peace. Is that tasteless?
I think it's just tasteless to bring up "Take on Me" after my spoof.
Oh,
my mess up.
I don't care.
Yeah, I stepped on a rake and it hit me in the face or whatever. I mixed up the He-Man meme with the Family Guy bit with "Take on Me" and then everybody was like, "Fuck you, you suck,
news.
Stop making music content." And stuff like that. They also said that you should stop making music content because you said that Leonard Skinner was progressive.
They're just wrong if they think they're not.
People were sending me some research on it, and it looks pretty. I think you might have been wrong there.
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, I was just letting you know.
Another iconic line by Felicia. Speaking of memes,
right. Bye Felicia comes from this movie, which I did kind of forget about. Like I knew that somewhere deep in my brain, but when it happened, I was like, oh yeah, that's in this movie.
That's how we discount non-important people.
Bye Felicia.
Bye Felicia.
People have really changed the meaning. Like people say it different than how the movie does. Like it took on its own life.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like endearing now a little bit. Like you'll say it to your friends. Goodbye, Felicia. I will say that.
I think that's white people specifically probably do that though.
Not a lot of white people in this movie.
What was that?
Not a lot of white people in this movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It's South Central LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense.
I do like that the carryout is black owned and it's a Chinese guy.
That's the one use of a gong that I will condone. That is, he pops up from behind the counter and they play a gong sound. I'm not saying that's right, but this is maybe the funniest version of it that I've seen because it does say black owned, and then it's just an Asian guy pops up in a gong place. That's funny. He
has like a do-rag on.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny.
Yeah, it is. Chris Tucker starts to get on a roll here. He shows up hot. He comes in hot.
Right. I was gonna say he gets on a roll about a minute into the movie and is the funniest person on the movie screen that I've seen in a long time.
When he's in the kitchen, they like go in to grab a drink, and Ice Cube's got no sugar for his Kool-Aid that they want to mix up.
Yep.
He goes, "You guys don't have anything. Kool-Aid, no sugar. Peanut butter, no jelly. Ham, no burger."
He says, "You don't got anything that match."
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Chris Tucker was not even really supposed to be in this movie either, which is dope.
Who the hell was it supposed to be?
Chris Rock, and then another guy was ahead of Tucker. Well, originally it's supposed to be DJ Pooh, who wrote it with Ice Cube. The Pooh Man was going to play Smokey.
Okay.
And New Line Cinema wanted like a more experienced actor. Something couldn't get Chris Rock, and then they got linked up with Chris Tucker via Def Jam.
Yeah.
Who he was like doing stand up for at the time. And then his first read was bad. And then they hooked him up with like a acting coach or whatever. And the story goes that Chris Tucker went to the acting coach's house, and the acting coach said by the time we were done with the spaghetti, he was Smokey.
Oh, I like that.
One of those classic
That's
Hollywood.
a great Hollywood story.
Hollywood fables.
It is hard for me to imagine Chris Tucker ever being bad at this.
Right.
Like it is unbelievable. And maybe that speaks to the story that we rolled our eyes at, but like maybe it really is he became Smokey, because it is such a ridiculous performance. It is so good the whole time. I like wrote about it a lot in scenes, but the physical comedy of Chris Tucker in this movie is unbelievable, and the way he delivers lines. Like one of my favorite lines I wrote down is just when he says his classic damn line, but like it ekes out. Like he's just like, damn. Like he could switch up saying the exact same thing and it makes you laugh again. Like he is unbelievable in this movie.
You know what didn't catch on? Ice Cube trying to say Dizam. He says that, he sneaks that in like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
No one else cares or picks it up, and it's definitely not iconic.
I feel like Snoop Dogg said it by accident probably throughout the entire 90s and 2000s.
Dizam.
Dizam. Yeah, another Chris Tucker line that I think this is probably my favorite line in the entire movie is is after Debo leaves, Smokey turns to Craig and says, I got mind control over Debo. He'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'd be quiet. But when he leave, I'd be talking again. Like he's
so
like,
good.
it's so funny how he flips it in his mind. He is one of those like overconfident fools. That's kind of the idea of Smokey, is like he just is so confident that he gets away with anything. But he thinks like this huge man who is such a scary presence in the movie, he's got the power, because when he tells me to shut the fuck up, I'll be quiet. But when he leaves, I talk again.
Yeah, got him.
Got him. Like, like, oh, you can only shut me the fuck up for so long.
Yeah. Another great line that Smokey does that just emphasizes his foolish confidence is after the huge fight at the end. Ice Cube is victorious. Smokey is the one who's like high stepping in the yard. That's my dog. Like, you're going to have to talk to him if you're going to come fuck with me.
And then the iconic John Witherspoon line too, where his sister Dana is like, he thinks he's the Mac. And then his dad goes, macaroni.
Witherspoon is like an actual lunatic.
Oh, yeah.
In this, he's like uncorked.
Yeah. Smokey is his friend because John Witherspoon is his dad.
Yeah, low key.
Like, you can tell he likes this chaotic energy. Ice Cube is so reserved in this movie. He doesn't have to say one funny thing. I don't think he has a funny line in the movie.
No, it's funny when he's high.
Yes.
I do. When Debbie calls him out for you look high. And then his best physical comedy, maybe his best joke in the whole movie, is how he just cleans himself up for the next 30 seconds. He's like, grabs his shirt and he like straightens it out and he's like, grabs it, does like one of these, and then he's all straightened out and he goes like this and he goes, do I look high now? Or do I still look high? It's so funny. He's like, ooh, let me brush all this high off of me.
And then he goes straight to flirting too.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny how like you see his vision. It's like tripled, like how old movies will show somebody high on weed. And then he's like straight up flirting with her.
Yeah. Then when he looks at the dog, he hears the barking. He's like, shh. It's like, he's like, you hear that?
There's ceramic dogs sitting on the coffee table or whatever. Before the broad stuff about the scenes in this movie, I have to just get this out of the way. One of my favorite moments in the entire movie is when John Witherspoon comes home after getting bit on the ass by a dog, and he is laying ass up in bed, watching TV, and he's just cheering for the postman running away from a dog.
Is it even because this is my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah.
This little back and forth while he's icing his buns on his bed is my favorite scene. I think that's like the best joke in the movie.
Yes.
Just like Witherspoon's attitude with this. And I don't even think it's a show. It feels like it's like an ad in between a program that he's watching. What is the show?
Right. I mean, I think it could just be any sitcom from the 90s. Like,
look out, Mr. Postman. Don't let the dog bite you. Go for the tree, Mr. Postman.
And he goes, go, 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 go. He's literally rooting for it like a sport.
He's dialed in.
Yeah, and like it does feel like it would be like a compilation that he would look up, but that didn't exist then. Like you couldn't like look up like compilation of male men running from dogs. Like vicious dogs attack male men. Like it's like he's just watching a show where that happens.
Yeah.
But that's what the great setup is that he is just watching the thing that he experienced as a dog catcher, you know?
And I do love like his like whole rationale or like how he deals with reality is so funny when he comes home and his ass is bitten. He's explaining it to his son. He's like, this big, nasty dog. I tried to get over the fence. I said, please don't bite me, doggy. He's like pleading with the dog as he's recounting the scenario.
And he hates dogs. I love that too, where he's like, he's trying to get Craig to be a dog catcher because he just lost his job. He's like, I don't want to be a dog catcher. He's like, I don't like dogs. And he's like, me either. I like choke them.
He's like, exactly. It's a perfect job.
He's like, you get a dog you hate, you get to choke it and kick it. He is talking about beating up the dogs, and that's the thing he likes about the job.
Backtrack to kind of the start of the movie. Smokey's arrival to the house is great. It's so routine. You get like the sense that these two best friends just kind of like clock in like this come the weekend. And like the way like Craig facilitates Smokey's like rolling tray and how Smokey like asks for the radio and stuff. Like it is so familiar that you're like, you never doubt like their chemistry or their belief. Like you just believe that they are best friends right away, which is great. And then you kind of get like whisked right into Smokey's chaos as like Perm pulls up. Smokey's got to go out and like handle that business, do his little defense to Perm and come back. And then pretty much like 5-10 minutes in, it's established that Craig is kind of this like, you know, passive, not like over the top, never like too emotional, who's kind of just always getting dragged into Smokey's bullshit.
Yes.
As the buddies, you know, the roles become so clear right away. Even like Craig getting fired on his day off and then him chilling with Smokey. You're into the movie. I love that just as kind of opening introductory scene.
I love Craig's room, by the way.
Yeah, it's fire.
And I did have the thought, I was like, it is funny when this movie came out in 1995, like, he's got, you know, like the Cypress Hill poster, all those things. Yeah, like it's almost like hard to avoid NWA and Ice Cube.
Right.
Like I thought about that. I'm like, this person would be a fan of those, like, but just had to like go everywhere else around it. None of the needle drops can be like an Ice Cube song or anything.
I mean, there are Ice Cube songs in here.
Totally. But never one that they're listening to in real life.
Right.
Which I think is like, it's a funny thing to think about. They had to like circumvent Ice Cube's fame as, because his name's Craig.
Yeah, they're just in an alternate reality where NWA doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's pretty badass. And then you get into the corner store scene, which we kind of mentioned with the easel line and the Chinese black-owned supermarket. But that's just great too, because like them getting there, you get introduced to the local crackhead who jumps up on Smokey's car. You get introduced to Smokey's car too, which has its own little moment as they return from the store. But then it's like the buddies going into the store, kind of everybody's deciphering what little candy, what little thing they want. They're getting loaded up for their little porch hangout.
Yeah, and then like you get Mrs. Parker, who's like the hot mom lady.
The MILF.
Yes, the MILF of the film.
Debbie jogging by.
Yep. And then you get like the Mexican guys come by, and then like you get Smokey's backstory of like why he smoked PCP with them.
Love that scene. There are 2 black and white scenes in this.
Yeah.
You get the Debo backstory, and then you get Smokey's backstory why he hates the Hispanic dudes.
Yes.
And that is so great. Like him tweaking in the pigeon coop.
Oh my God.
Also, like I don't know, like my through line is like, hey, Arnold, in the city, you had the pigeon coop. I like the urban pigeon coop.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't live in South Central or in like Harlem or Brooklyn right now, but like, is the urban pigeon coop still a thing? And why was it? Like, were they sending, was it just a crazy pigeon guy or were they using them for messages?
Yeah, I don't know.
But it exists.
Yeah,
like,
were the pigeons, were they on the payroll is what you're asking.
Yeah. I was like, all right, yeah, we're just kind of getting into cell phone territory. You know, in 1990, where we just like sending birds, like,
they weren't doing that, but
where's my money from Perm?
See, I kind of saw it as like, I thought it was funny because of the way pigeons move and then the way that Chris Tucker is moving off the angel dust. Like he's just like,
he is even cooing at one point. He's like,
yeah, I think that's the physical comedy there. It's like, let's put him near some tweaked out birds, you know?
That is so great. I love those 2 flashbacks. And then, like we said, you get the introductory of all these characters. One of my favorites of those scenes is Bernie Mac's moment.
Yes.
As the local pastor who comes by, and Craig tells Smokey, put that shit away. He's rolling up and he's like, fuck that. Like, he smokes too.
Yeah.
And then he rolls up. First off, he like accuses him and he does like the singing voice.
Oh
like
yeah,
they're
doing the preacher voice.
We don't like drugs. And then he's like, fuck off. He fires it right back. And then he's like, all right, let me get a little for my cataract. Yeah. And he's like, you didn't throw in on this, so you don't get none of this. And then he like fires off and goes straight across the street to Miss Parker's house, where he is invited in to presumably bang her out.
Yes.
Because we find out after Mr. Parker comes home, there's a big crash out. Bernie Mac comes running out onto the front lawn, half naked, and then Mr. Parker throws all of Mrs. Parker's nice dresses.
Clothes,
out.
yeah.
It's funny because she's like in like Daisy Dukes and like a tied up shirt. But then when he comes out and dumps her clothes, they're all like nice silk dresses. It's just
but that's her outfit for watering the lawn.
And luring in pastors,
Well, luring in everybody. It seems like everyone in the neighborhood.
She's a slut.
Oh my Lord. I wish you said it earlier.
Yep.
I can't believe we went this far without saying it.
And Smokey wanted to knock the dust off of that thing.
He literally says, he's like, I knocked the dust off that pussy.
Yeah, and then he does establish kind of early on with his signature snake tongue.
Yeah, he does your thing.
Yeah, pretty...
He does that at women. I wrote down, like, obviously there's a lot of 90s era casual misogyny in this movie.
Big time.
Chris Tucker is just straight up grabbing any woman who walks onto the porch by the arm and being like, let's hook up.
He's rabid.
Yeah, and then he's like,
he's rabid and horny.
Yeah, he's like, when are we gonna fuck? He's just constantly like asking for it, and it's crazy. It is like a crazy thing to rewatch now, but at the same time, it is funny throughout the movie.
Yeah,
and Chris Tucker's character is just a horny young guy.
Yeah, it's like it seems pretty harmless.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end, you do get the resolve that like Smokey and Craig stand on the right side of like whatever morality.
Right. They're not hit. They're like, they won't stand for hitting women and things like that. Obviously, also, like the misogyny runs deeper than just like dialogue in the movie. It's like there's no developed female character in this movie except for like his mom and his sister are both like
smart.
Kind of, they have like advice and stuff like that. But it's not, there's no like deep female character in this movie. A lot of them are like set pieces for the men to chase after, you know?
For sure.
Which I don't like generally in a movie. You know, we'll get into it and how it would be different, but I don't think it would be that way in a movie, you know, in 2025.
No, I even think like Craig's girlfriend Joy would be like much more fleshed out because I felt like there was a lot of untapped comedy in that character, in the crash out girlfriend. I don't know. It was like set up and I was like, I've seen the movie before, but I was like, you're almost like waiting for her to have more impact on the movie because there's like the threat of her, you know, she's like calling and then Craig gets caught in the one situation grabbing Debbie's bag, but that just could have like, there could have been so much more to Joy's character. I think that would have been like really funny. You get no backstory on why she's crashing out like this. She's just his like tripping ass girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, the backstory, I guess, would be that Craig is actively chasing other women.
Yeah.
And having them over and like cuddling with them and stuff.
Yeah. Well, he was clarifying a story.
That's true, but it's pretty clear that he's into her. And like he's straight up, Smokey's like, he wants to hook up with you. And Craig's got a woman. He's like, he unlike her. So I mean, I don't know. And Chris Tucker like straight up has a girl coming over at 7:30 and like 2 hours before that is trying to sleep with Craig's sister. Like it's morally obviously it's all over the place, but whatever.
We do get a line there in that sequence that you just mentioned that I love. Chris Tucker does an Al Pacino in this.
Yes.
And it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, it's so good.
And it comes out of nowhere. Oh, forget him. Like, I can't even do it. Like he goes into this thick Italian accent that is just, it's classic. And of course you'd do that in the mid 90s. Pacino was Pacinas at that time, you know?
Yeah.
And now he's flat. Penis.
I will say another big element of this movie that I think makes it so great is that it's so much about people watching. It's so much about this neighborhood with this crazy cast of characters. And the front porch is like a TV. It's like watching TV. That is like cemented in that moment where Craig gets called into the house by his dad and he's like, all right, let me know if anything happens. Like, let me know if I miss anything. Yeah. Like it is very like they are out there watching entertainment. They don't need entertainment because the neighborhood is all of that.
Yes.
And everyone knows each other and everyone has a story and they all just like interweave throughout the movie in so many funny ways, you know? Like even you get Lil Chris earlier, then you get him again and they fully chase him down and like the tension has risen in the movie.
They're like, fuck this, we're done.
Yeah, like we're gonna go knock this kid off his bike. Like they just, all of it, the way that it interweaves, it's so great. It so much feels like, you really get the sense that the Friday really is just a Friday and this happens all the time. There's so much history and so much future to it that you do get a sense that it's just a glimpse and it's that entertaining. You almost like want to watch a TV show that is just every day in this neighborhood.
Well, there's an animated series about it that you can watch. Yeah. I saw a breakdown in a review that said that same thing, was like, you get the sense that this universe is existing whether it's like in this moment or not. Like it's things have been going on before, things will continue to go on after, and there's things going on while you're watching it that you don't get to see. Yeah. Like you feel all the other things happening. And I think that is credited to them being on the porch and kind of the revolving door. Like Joy comes by, his sister like gets off school and dropped off, the parents go to work and come back, and the rest of the neighborhood, like Mr. Parker comes home, like the pastor makes his run, Red gets off work or whatever, and he's hit. Great run on Red too. It's Napoleon Dynamite. Like. Yeah, it literally is. He does like the Napoleon Dynamite run away. The crying run is so good. But to your point on how everything like gets intertwined. A little subtle thing that I love that I don't want to forget to mention as we get into like kind of the last big fight scene is Steven, the neighbor, the like uptight neighbor in the robe, who early on, as they're like going to the corner store, is like, "Gentlemen, get off my lawn." And he like yells at him, and he just like is continuously fed up. Debo and Smokey do a breaking and entering, or they like break into his house when he goes to work. They get the $200 that Debo keeps. But then the end of the movie, during the huge fight scene, it all happens on Steven's front yard.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good tie back. And they don't even really mention it at the end, but it's just like in the beginning, you're like, fuck this guy, he's annoying. But like he really can't catch a break. Like he is like he's trying to be the straight and narrow guy, and he just is. Yeah,
he's just such a yuppie.
Oh like, yeah, he's like trying. Yeah, he's like the yuppie in the neighborhood.
He's got a button-down pink shirt tucked into shorts and high socks. Like the hair, like everything about it is like, oh, this guy is out of place and has to deal with all of like the craziness in the neighborhood, and it's just like.
I just love that Debo ends up like half dead on his lawn at the end.
Yes,
it's a great little touch by Gary Gray there.
F. Gary Gray.
Yeah, that's what a weird name.
I do want to touch on one negative thing really quick before we get out of scenes and get to the final fight scene. But I wish they didn't play Debbie's friend for laughs either.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you know, there's the whole thing of like, it's like catfishing in real life. Like Chris Tucker talks to the girl on the phone. She's coming over at 7:30. She says that she looks like Janet Jackson, and he is bragging about that all day. He's like, I got Janet Jackson coming over, you know, whatever. She shows up and she's a bigger girl, and they play that completely for laughs and also like reference it multiple times. And it just feels like something that's like, it was unnecessary. And you know what? It's just a day in this neighborhood. So it, like shit like this is just gonna happen. But it's just like sucks as a viewer now to, like that one felt worse than anything else in the movie.
I'll say the direct interaction between her and Smokey was like the most awkward comedy of Chris Tucker's, because I wasn't getting a kick out of it. But I don't mind like the setup for like Debbie's like the sweet pea of the neighborhood. And she's like just trying to pitch her friend to Smokey. She's trying to do a nice thing for Smokey.
Yes.
Because Smokey's rabidly horny. And she's just trying to do a nice thing for her friend. And she doesn't say one thing or the other about either character. So I do like how that establishes her as just this like sweet, nice friend.
Yeah, she's like, I just thought you guys would get along.
Right. And then they have that conversation, and that's like Debbie's best set of dialogue. Her laughing with Smokey in the front yard is great.
Yeah.
Because she's like being a little witty, and then Smokey's like, she said she looked like Janet Jackson. She's like, oh, she did not say that one. And she like kind of gives into it a little there.
And then Smokey says she looked more like Freddie Jackson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, but it's all I'm saying is like, that's something that, you know, nowadays would never happen. And we've done tons of movies where Adam Sandler movies have a bunch of that too. Yeah. There's always, you know, Dodgeball had that. Like,
wait till we do Shallow Hal.
Oh yeah, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till that.
That's the movie where he learns a lesson by falling in love with a hot girl that he's forced to see as fat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like once he learns his lesson, the vision wears off, and then he realizes she's actually hot, and they're like, just kidding, dude. Now that you have morals, it's fucking Cameron Diaz or something. It's like,
shit.
Great lesson there.
Yeah, the Jack Black has to learn
how to settle.
But which is weird.
Into the final scene here, after obviously they get away from Perm's gang, who roll up in the ice cream truck with a bunch of machine guns out and are just firing bullets. They jump over the garage.
Excessive gunfire.
And like by the time Craig's parents come out, they're like, Steven, what was that? He was like, sounded like machine guns. Like literally they pull up and they're like,
they literally run from the engine in Smokey's car earlier. Like what's his name? Azal like runs around the corner
from the backfire.
From just the backfire of Smokey's engine of the car. And then this is full on like militaristic gunfire, like machine guns. And they come out and they're like, it sounded like somebody was shooting machine guns.
What was that?
Yeah.
Chris Tucker does this thing while he's on the roof too. First off, Craig tosses him the gun as he's going to run up, which is so funny. It's in the middle of the night. He goes, Smoke. He grabs it. Smokey turns around and goes, he's like, He does like the old school detective, like break yourself.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that all like wears off. They're like, all right, we're safe now. It's been 3 minutes since we were sprayed up by machine guns. Time to go fight fist for fist against Debo.
Well, I think, there's, the commentary there is that violence is probably a norm here and desensitized across the whole neighborhood.
No, totally. But it is just very funny that like the lesson to be learned there is like you're a man with just your fists.
Yeah.
And like the gun, like that doesn't make you a man.
Right.
And then like, Craig even says like, I'm a man without it.
Yeah.
He has to learn to fight hand-to-hand combat with Debo. But like 3 minutes ago was getting shot up by, they're not worried at all that they're going to spin the block. Like they're just like, no, we're in the street fighting. All the families are out there. Like that threat has gone away.
Yeah, don't worry.
It was only
Worm.
$200.
Yeah.
I mean, Worm's not going to come back. And
the guy who's killed people for $20.
And I mean, the fight also, it's like, we commented on this while we were watching. It's like, nope, like a gun makes you like a coward. But then Craig uses a 2x4, a trash can,
a car, and then he throws a brick. Accurate ass throw too.
Hits him right in the noggin.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's only weird because if they just would have got to fighting and then, you have the gun, put that away. I think it's weird that Craig uses all these external things only because Debo puts away the huge like shank that he has.
Yeah.
If Debo never like conceded that, if it was just like, all right, let's go, Craig. And Craig's like, all right, I'll put the gun away. Then you're like, okay, Craig is certainly outmatched here.
Yes.
It's within fair play, I think, for him to use a trash can or a plank because he's fighting Debo, who's as solid as a rock. But it's like, damn, Debo had the chance just to stab you, and now you're going to go throwing around a brick?
Yeah, brick is too much. The brick is too much. And I mean, I don't think you're supposed to believe that Craig can beat up Debo. I think that would make the movie absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. If Craig's just like, all right, he just knocks him out. I kind of thought like Craig's just gonna get knocked out, and then at least he learned his lesson though.
Right.
And that's fine. That would have been fine, but then he has to win.
Well, they got to win so they can get the money.
Right.
That's like the ultimate thing is that Smokey runs his pocket, gets his 200, which he was rightfully owed half of anyway.
Right.
I'd say at least half.
I always did think it was funny throughout that last like 40 minutes where they're like worried about Worm. He has $140 canonically.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, just try to offer him that for an extra day or something.
Yeah.
He's just like has nothing to give him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy, you know?
Or like try and sell the weed. They never once try and sell the weed.
He does sell a little bit of weed to the Hispanic guys who come back
Craig
around.
makes them.
Craig makes them. But then they're also all asking for $200 from everybody instead of asking for 60
right
or 80.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has 120 or 140, but like I always thought like let's finish the puzzle here and then figure out your money. Like they're all just asking for 200, which I don't know. It's a little
plot hole.
Who cares about the plot holes in Friday?
Well,
you know?
Before we move out of the scene, I do want to shout out during that breaking and entering scene when Chris Tucker starts like mocking Debo behind his head.
Oh, that
sequence of physical comedy is the best. And Debo keeps like turning and Chris Tucker will be looking around, and then he goes to mock him again. And when Debo turns around one time, he just gives him a hug.
He hugs him. Yeah, that part we both cracked up.
It's almost like a boxer, you know.
Yes,
you're like too close to throw any more punches, so he just gives him a hug. He just wraps him up. He goes, "No problem, Debo, I got you." I wouldn't make fun of you, man.
He's just mouthing stuff at him. He's like, fuck you," like blah blah blah. Yeah, he's doing that, and then every time he turns around, he's like,
"Yeah, that is so good."
Oh man.
He's going, pitching 120 right down the middle. All right, we've already kind of touched on this a lot through the scenes and stuff, but is there anything specific that you could point out that would make it different today, or how it would be different today?
Cell phones and computers and Twitter.
Tinder. Smokey would be on Tinder.
Yeah, Smokey would be on Tinder and Hinge and Bumble.
He'd be like, damn, check out.
Yeah, he'd be trying to get on Raya. Yeah. And then Ice Cube could probably invite him because he's famous.
Right, yeah.
Ice Cube would be 50.
Yeah, which whatever. I said nobody would be selling weed.
Yeah.
That would be like one serious structural change, like, and we don't necessarily have like the petty drug that people hustle. Like, we really lost something there, and I know I'm gonna sound old. Anybody could sell weed really at any age, and it was such like I know obviously free all nonviolent offenders that are like in prison, whatever. A lot of people are locked up for shit for a long time. But when I say petty, it was just like, it was so accessible, and it felt like such like an easy thing to do. Everybody wants weed. You could always sell $10 or $20 worth of weed. You could always buy a little quarter, flip an eighth to your friend.
Yeah.
And that's like, was just like a facet of life in neighborhoods and especially like in college. What would Smokey be selling now? Like it would be
Galaxy gas.
He'd be selling tanks.
Yeah.
He'd be, would he have a shopping cart full of tanks?
Maybe. I don't know.
Or is he doing one-off crackers for people?
Well, yeah, it could be that. You could be topping people off a little bit. Just like, you know.
Here you go.
Yeah, $5 a pop.
$5 a panga.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that. Or like, I don't know. Are there any kind of like mystical, like, are there things like moon rocks? Like, do we have like new sap or whatever? What do they call it? Wax? Syrup?
For sure, people are still selling some like.
What about shrooms? He could be selling shrooms.
Yeah, shrooms are kind of there, but
because they're like legal some places.
Yeah, and they're like don't feel as serious. Because like Smokey's character can't sell LSD, can't sell coke. That's like too serious. That's like what Perm's doing.
Right.
That puts him in Kingpin.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. He can't be selling Molly.
Molly could be good. I feel like it'd be funny if
like gonna hit Smoke.
Yeah, if Ice Cube does Molly for the first time in a while.
Yeah, he'd be doing more than just grabbing Debbie, I fear.
Oh my God.
He'd be licking her neck or something.
No.
Oh no.
I wish you
it.
no, stop.
Oh, don't.
I don't want to make this video about that.
Yeah, but there are tonally a lot of other things that would adjust for 21st century comedy.
Yeah, misogyny, fat phobia.
Yeah.
Probably the let's do a timeout on the Asian hate, even though I think you keep the part with the gong.
But I will say the movie in general doesn't lean into those things. That's not like the crux of every joke is like offensive. And I will say it is subtle in certain regards that shocked me upon rewatch. Like even Bernie going into Miss Parker's house. You don't even hear Mr. Pastor.
No.
Which could have been an easily inserted joke.
You don't even see Debo and Felicia get it on or like get like even the lead up to that. It's just them laying in bed.
And when Craig says, I'm about to set this woman straight to Joy, takes her inside, they're presumably fucking because of Joy's sweet nature to Craig later, like as they exit the house, but you never hear an instance of that. It never gets like sexually explicit or leans so far into a racist joke. Even like the presence of the two Hispanic guys in their car, Chris Tucker does like the Spanish gibberish back at him.
Right.
But they're never like making fun of their character because they're Hispanic.
Right.
And I think for 95 and for a first, movie venture for Gary Gray and Ice Cube, it's pretty good. It maneuvers pretty well around a lot of sensitive things.
No, I agree with that. Ice Cube also has the thing where he's kind of like not trying to say the N-word. He's not like cursing as much. Like there's like a little bit of a reference to it at one point, but then you kind of notice it throughout the movie. Like Chris Tucker will say whatever the whole time. He'll be cursing and stuff, but Ice Cube kind of like plays it cool.
Yeah.
And it's kind of is the idea like, it definitely doesn't do as much as you think it might do for 95.
Right.
With the subject matter.
Totally.
And so I will give it that for sure.
Too, yeah.
And I think like the main thing is like they did 2 more of these movies. I have not seen Next Friday or the Friday After Next, but like if they were to make one in 2025, so many things would change. I don't know that it'd be as good of a movie, so I'm glad that this version of it exists.
Yes, and I'm glad it stands up. Because it did stick. There's a reason it's stuck in the culture, and it's not just because it was Ice Cube in an all-black cast or something. It's like it goes beyond that because it is just like a solid ass movie.
There's no jokes about Mr. Parker being a little person either.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even make a single joke about that. They don't even, I mean, which makes it funnier in a certain way. It's just because like you hear about Mr. Parker a lot, and then it's him, and then you're like, oh, that's. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his hands too. That's the funny part. The funny part is that Mrs. Parker is fucking stacked.
Yeah, yep, a whole lot of woman.
Oh, mama. Chris Tucker. I do really want to shout out John Witherspoon. I feel like he's got a lot of lines in this, but his performance, it's not only neurotic and supplies like some of the most laugh out loud and like absurd moments. Like Smokey can be a little absurd, but his character is pretty like recognizable. Like Witherspoon as a father figure really catches me off guard sometimes with the shit he says.
Yeah.
And then you get that monologue from him where he's like, sissified. Like, what's wrong with your generation? And like, then he goes and gives Craig like the He's like, put your deuce up.
And put your deuces up.
And then he like teaches him about how that like makes you a man and how like getting a whooping like is how you settle things. That's like a good bit of fatherly advice.
Yeah.
And then you have the last moment where he like pries the gun out of his hands and then he goes right back with macaroni to being funny. Rest in peace with John Witherspoon. Great job in this movie. Have to shout him out. It's one of the best performances, but no one touches Chris Tucker as like this, I feel like sets in line so many other people after this. Like this kind of energy is like constantly trying to be recaptured in so many movies.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's crazy.
I'm doing White Friday.
I thought about it. I'm glad you did it.
Yeah, this takes place in the 90s, by the way.
In a cul-de-sac?
I said like same plot, just,
okay.
Yeah. So it's an all-white reboot of Friday that took place in 1996, maybe, like right after it. I got Tom Hanks as Craig and Smokey as Jim Carrey.
Nice.
Because I'm just thinking physical comedy, who can be that zany?
Yep.
And I'm thinking Jim Carrey in the 90s would be fantastic.
White trash Jim Carrey in like a beater selling weed?
I guess so.
Sure.
Yeah. Christopher Walken is Craig's dad.
When you catch a dog.
Yeah, like, it bit my ass.
Yeah.
Like there's something. There's
Run,
something.
Mr. Postman.
Yeah. Go for the tree. And then Big Worm is John Goodman with a perm.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's pretty excellent.
Thank you.
And it could be set in maybe like, let's say like West Toledo in the 90s.
I was thinking Portland, Maine.
Ooh.
Yeah, the mean streets of Portland, Maine.
Like that.
Yeah, it's East Coast.
Yeah. That's good.
For whatever reason.
I kind of ran out of juice here at this point. I put I Show Speed as Chris Tucker in the new one, and then Ice Cube just plays Witherspoon's character.
Holy shit,
So,
you
like,
did run out of steam.
I
this
totally,
is crazy. I mean, you didn't even recast the main character.
No, Ice Cube plays who's like a young
Well,
good
you said
actor.
Ice Cube plays is
The dad.
The dad.
And so who plays Craig?
Yeah.
Drewski could play Craig. Ice Cube's his dad, and I Show Speed is Smokey.
I love it.
Thanks,
I think
man.
it's great, man. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And it takes place in a cul-de-sac, right? They're all rich as fuck.
No.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Trailer park.
Okay.
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I told you I ran out of juice on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. You did. You
Big
totally
time.
ran out of juice.
I don't want to do it. Amazing soundtrack.
It's absolutely a classic. Do you not love me, man? What the hell?
Huh? You ran out of do-yas.
Well, is that how many there are? Did we count them?
I don't know.
Do you love me, Mary Jane? While they're
great.
smoking weed, I mean, come on, that's great.
So many great like coinciding songs with actions going on. Every time they see Debbie, that I think it's an Isley Brothers song. There's like it's like a love song. You can just tell that
The
it's
shout, right? Yeah.
You make me wanna shout. Put your hands up and shout.
Is that right?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
I love the Curtis Mayfield song that hits right when it goes to nighttime. I feel like that sets a great vibe.
Yep.
There was some interesting beef. Cypress Hill refused or denied Ice Cube the permission to use Throw Your Set in the Air. So then Ice Cube just wrote a song that was super similar to that. And then that started like a bit of a little rap beef after the movie. Frank Fitzpatrick is the music supervisor for this. I'd love to know what else he did because he did a wonderful job here. Soundtrack went #1, which was awesome. Was there for 2 weeks. Double platinum within a year or something like that.
Is the Debo scary music from anything else? Like, it's not the Star Wars thing, but it does remind me of like the Darth Vader music
Maybe.
or something. Like, it's
They
like,
definitely did not get John Williams music.
No. But I just mean like, it has the, you get the scare. It's like the Jaws music or the Darth Vader music, but when Debo's walking up. He's always riding a bike too. I just have to mention, that is so funny to me that the scary character in this movie is just a massive dude in a flannel riding a bike.
Yeah, it's a good juxtaposition, but I also kind of think it speaks on the idea that like Debo's served time.
Yeah.
I feel like Debo can't have a license. And I mean, by evidence of the shank he has at the end, the way that thing's like put together.
Yeah.
The way he's like cross-eyed and stares into the distance. He kind of has that blank stare of a guy who's served some hard time.
Yes.
So I feel like that's part of the bike thing, but it is great juxtaposition that his big ass is on a bike.
Yeah, the scariest character rides up on a bike to scare, to creepy music.
Yeah, and they also just know that he's gonna rob you. He's like a middle school bully. He like shakes the change out of your pocket.
Yep.
And everybody just kind of does it, but then he also kind of wants to hang out.
A little bit.
It's almost like that's the only way he knows how to communicate. He's like, "What's up, Smokey?"
Yeah, he's like,
"Give me that."
Give me that. Oh, yeah. Then also, do you want to help me rob other people?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But no, back to the soundtrack. Amazing. Love literally every little moment. I like how it's interwoven between we have songs that are just for us as an audience, and then they're also listening to music. You can tell music's like a big part of their lives as well.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yes, especially young whites.
Yeah, totally.
I just think there's a lot of younger white people that probably haven't been told to watch this.
Yeah.
Or have the impression that like, I wouldn't think that's funny. You know what I mean? And I think it completely transcends any bit of like race comedy.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like it is not just like, it's not intentionally making jokes for anybody in any which way. It's just a great slice of life of what I think was actually a representation of South Central at a certain time.
Yeah, it's one of the best comedies of the 90s. Like, it really is, as much as you've heard that it's great and funny, it is that funny.
Yes.
And I, as someone who has just seen bits and pieces of it until I sat and watched it, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is like I already want to watch the next two.
Yeah,
you know?
it's perfect.
And the next two apparently got Cat Williams and Mike Epps in them too.
Yeah, so let's ride.
Yeah, I'm down.
See you this weekend.
It's great. You should definitely watch it. I gave it 4 stars, and I just wrote "damn" with a lot of A's in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I too gave it 4 stars. I think this is the first time we've ever aligned on a rating.
I don't think that's true.
Unless it was both. No, I think it is.
I think we both gave 5 stars to Fight Club or something.
Maybe you're right. It was either had to have been patently perfect or like the worst thing we'd ever seen.
Yeah, well, I think we might have had the same score before, and then you'll change it if I go first.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
they're already written.
I've seen it happen where you have the same score that I have down, and then you move it down.
You're a liar.
So that you can be more of a movie critic.
You're a liar. I also gave it 4 stars, and I said, fuck Riley. That wouldn't be me on the porch with him. No, I'm just kidding. I would be your Smokey. That's your Smokey. 4 stars. I want to get a perm and smoke angel dust. That's my review. Those are 2 things I'd like to do.
You should do that for the next episode.
Okay.
No matter what movie we do, you should get a perm and smoke angel dust before the next episode of How Did It Age.
Okay.
And also, for the next episode of How Did It Age, if you want to know what movie we're watching, we post it a week ahead of time on our Patreon, which is only $5 a month. And you can become a YouTube member on the main channel if you also want that privilege. So then, if you haven't seen the movie or you haven't seen the movie in a while, you can watch it before watching these videos so they make more sense to you. And you can also comment your favorite lines, your favorite scenes, and comment some movies that you want us to do one of these episodes about.
Yeah, we take those very seriously, and you guys have great taste, and we want to keep sharing good stuff with you. I love you.
It's been 30 years since this movie came out. This is the 30th episode of How Did It Age, and we're both 30-ish in age.
He's older.
Bye. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. This has been How Did It Age. This has been Friday. We've been HIVEMIND Unlimited, and we'll see you in the next one.
Damn!
You just got knocked the fuck out. Shouldn't YouTube just have a section like New Music Friday on Spotify? Music videos just need like a push. Yeah, there's like no new campaign for music videos to matter again.
VH1.
Yeah, I feel like nobody would do it with VH1 though, because they don't have any like pull in the industry.
Brand is trash.
Yeah, the whole thing is burnt.
We're fucked.
Yeah, the media landscape is burnt, and that's why even if we get a little upset with each other sometimes, at least we're like not doing that.
Yeah,
at least we're just doing what you've always wanted us to do. We're just sit around and joke around.
We're not compromised by the corporate elites. Except Ted Turner.
Yeah, Ted Turner Network.
But he's like our sugar daddy when you think about it. Huge dick and awesome personality.
A huge dick?
What?
Oh, he has a huge dick. I thought you meant he was a huge dick.
No, he has a huge dick and he has an awesome personality.
Yeah, and that's what the reason that our show, we can even do what we're doing is because of Ted Turner.
Yes.
And yes, we have to, cut a few corners. We can't say everything we want to say. And we also have to say a lot of stuff that I can't believe he wants us to say.
Right.
And we have to post the YouTube shorts on the main channel. Which is
that
weird.
Hurt.
That hurt us a lot.
That was the worst thing he's done.
Yeah, that fucked us up.
Yeah, that fucked everyone up. No one was used to that.
No one likes it.
No.
overall, the reception has been bad.
Super bad.
And the reception has been bad for Ted, too, because he's on vacation and we can't really get in contact with him about it.
Reception for Ted 2, though, was excellent.
Yeah, people did like that.
That bear is vulgar.
Yeah, they're going to make 3,000 of those.
That's a weird number.
3,000 is 3,000, just so you know.